Hi, today we're going to be using some hand weights. In kilograms, these are 1.5. In pounds, it's about 3.3 pounds. So you could go for something a little bit lighter, maybe even a little bit heavier. I wouldn't go too heavy though. And we're going to start off with the weights at either side of us, sitting on your heels or sitting in a comfortable position that's right for you. We're going to rest the fingertips on the weights. Take your right arm up and over the shoulder as you take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just roll your weight away. Let your right hip drop over the edge of your right heel. And take a deep stretch here, breathing into the ribs on your right side. We can come all the way back up to sit. Rest the right hand on the weight. And we'll take a breath in as we reach the left arm up and over the shoulder. Begin to roll the weight away with the right hand. And just allow that left hip to drop over the edge of the left heel. And take a breath deep into the ribs here. And as you exhale, we can come back to sit. So we're going to rise up onto the knees. Let the tailbone just drop gently between the hips. Take a breath in as the shoulders rise up towards the ears. Allow your arms to feel nice and soft and heavy. And then exhale as the weights gently drag the arms back down to the ground. And again, breath in, making your circle a little bit wider this time, exaggerating that movement and mobilizing the shoulders. This time, raise the shoulders up towards the ears, hold it just here. Your left shoulder is going to come forward while your right shoulder goes back. And we're going to circle the shoulders in opposite directions here, just twice more. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. And last one. Try and keep your elbows and wrists nice and floppy and relaxed. Bring the shoulders back up to the ears. This time, right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Try to keep the ribs nice and still. The rest of the body absolutely stationary. And last one here. Excellent. So we'll sit back down to the heels. Bend the elbows. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reach the weights forward towards me with your palms facing up. If at this point you feel like the weights are a little bit too much for your tummy muscles, you know to either change down or take just one weight into both hands. Breathe out as you stretch the arms ahead of you. Now the aim here is to try and keep the spine nice and still. So you can feel the tailbone dropping between the heels, the belly button pulling in towards the back of the spine, the ribs gently closing as you reach the arms forward this last time. Exhale and hold it here through the last parts of your exhale. And the arms can come all the way down. Lovely. Let's bring the hands to the chest. Palms facing forward, elbows pointing towards the floor. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, slowly lengthen the arms up and over the shoulders. And breathe in as you bend the elbows back in line with the shoulders, so you look a little bit like a fork. And a breath out, stretch the arms up and over the shoulders. Now, if you have a little bit of an arch in your neck, you might find it more comfortable to reach the weights just forward of the forehead, so almost in line with the eyes. And last one like this. Lovely. We'll bring the weights back down to the chest. This time your thumbs are going to point up. Roll the shoulders just once, just to release any tension you've built there. Take a breath in. And now as you breathe out, stretch the arms towards me. We're going to imagine that we're swimming, circling the arms out to the side, keeping them on the same plane as the shoulders. Exhaling as you reach forward. Inhaling as the arms return. One more time like this. And now we can change direction. Now feel free to get rid of the weights and just rest them down by your side at any point during this whole workout if any of it feels a little bit too much to do with the weights. All of these exercises are going to be great without two. Last one here. So we can pop the weights down either side of the mat and then either roll yourself down onto your back or come down onto your side and then onto your back, which is going to take care of you if you have a diastasis or a tummy separation. And we're going to take the weights back into both hands and reach the weights up and over the chest. So while we're here, try and get a sense of all of your ribs pressing down into the mat. We can feel as though they're just adhering to the floor now. You might need to stretch out your neck a little bit, and we're going to hold it here. Take a breath in to prepare. And then as you breathe out, your right arm is going to begin to slowly lower down behind the shoulder. And feel how your rib cage wants to lift away from the floor underneath you. And we're going to try and keep the ribs attached to the mat. Breathe in as the arm comes back and over the chest. Let's switch sides now. Exhaling, the left arm floats back. Remember, if this is a little bit too much with the weight, please just go without. The weight of your arm is going to be enough to set off some of these, fire up some of these muscles that we want to be working in the ribs and the diaphragm. Exhale as the right arm reaches back. And last one of these, the left arm reaches back, keeping the arm plugged firmly into the shoulder socket. Just going as far as it feels right for your shoulder. Take a breath in, reach the arms just a little bit higher, feel the spine connecting to the mat between the ribs. And as you breathe out, bend the elbows softly out to the side, opening the arms. Imagine you're holding a balloon which is inflating in your arms, hovering the knuckles just off the floor, and then bring the arms back together, reaching the fingertips towards the ceiling. Breathe in. And out, reaching the arms out to the side again. This time, opening up the elbow joints a little bit wider so we can feel the arms are stretched a little bit more. Breathe in as we bring the arms back together, filling the ribs with air as you do this. Last time. So now we're going to swoop the arms down to the side, rest the knuckles on the floor, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, float your right knee up and over the hip. Another breath out. Let's see how it feels to float the left knee up over the hip as well. Now, if this feels like it's too much, just keep the right knee over the hip and keep the left foot on the floor, and we'll just work with this one side for now. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lower the right toe down towards the floor. Feel the thigh bone pulling away from the chest, the belly button pressing down and in towards the floor. Breathe in and bring the knee back. Switch sides. Exhale, the left foot floats down towards the floor. Try to engage your pelvic floor and your tummy muscles. So we're going to use those muscles to prevent the spine from arching at the base and to prevent the pelvis from rolling forward as the leg comes down. One more time like this. Perfect. Now let's bend the elbows. Point the knuckles at the ceiling. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lower the right foot to the floor, but lift the left elbow. So we're going to lower the weight down behind the shoulder. Then breathe in as you bring the knee and the elbow back to their start position. Switch sides. Exhale, left foot, right hand, reach away from each other. And breath in, bring the elbow and the knee back to where they started. So if this feels like enough for you, you can carry on like this. If you want to join me for something more challenging, this time we'll exhale and we'll lengthen the right leg, lengthen the left arm and reach them away. And then breath in as you bend the elbow and the knee and bring them back down to rest. Exhale, left leg, right arm, perhaps stretch away this time, and breath in, bring them back. Whichever option you've chosen, let's just go for one more on each side. Try to finish that exhale with the limbs away from each other and draw the knee and the arm back through the air as though you're pulling them through treacle on the way back. And exhale, left leg, right arm, reach away, hold it for a moment, and then return. Well done. Pop the weights down to the side for now. Just hold onto the knees for a few seconds and let's circle the knees together in one direction and then the other. Lovely. So now we're going to reach down and take hold of just one of the weights and hold that weight between your knees or just your thighs just above your knees. Depending on your weight, this will be more or less comfortable. If for any reason this feels unsafe or it feels like you're going to drop the weight onto your tummy, please go without a weight and you'll find this works without a weight anyway. Okay, so let's open up the arms a little bit wider than the mat with your palms facing up. Your knees and feet will be together, holding onto your weight if you can. We'll take a breath in to prepare, and as we exhale, the knees will drift over to the left. Because the pelvis stays neutral, the right foot leaves the floor as well, and we're going to hold it just here where we can feel the weight of the legs and the weight of our weight challenging the tummy muscles, particularly the right side. Let's bring the legs back to where they started and breathe in. As you breathe out, the knees go over to the right. The left foot leaves the floor. Notice though that the rib cage is going to stay as still as it possibly can. So all of this movement, this rotation, is happening through the waist. Exhale, knees over to the left. The right foot lifts, holding it here for a deeper breath out. Engage your pelvic floor, your tummy muscles, even your inner thighs, and then bring the legs back. Breathe in. Perfect. Let's do one more on each side. And here's our last one. So now, take your weight into one hand and roll onto your side facing me. Your lower arm can just stretch out underneath your head to support you. And if this is uncomfortable, maybe put a foam roller or a cushion underneath your head instead. Your knees are going to be bent, one knee on top of the other, the hips stacked nicely, and your top arm is going to stretch forward with your weight in the hand. Make sure that your shoulders are one on top of the other and you're not folding forward like this. The waist is lifted away from the floor. Take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, first engage the tummy muscles, the pelvic floor, and then begin to lift the weight. We're just lifting it to hover off the floor, just so the hand is in line with the shoulder. Finish your exhale, and then inhale to lower it back down. Exhale, as you lift the weight, try and feel that top shoulder blade sliding down towards the spine, engaging the rhomboids and trapezius. And now bring the weight down. So we're going to do another 3, but this time turn the weight on its end so your thumb is pointing up towards the ceiling. We'll take a breath in to prepare, and then as you exhale, the shoulder blade slides down towards the spine and hold it here. And then breathe in, bring it down. Just 2 more will be plenty, I'm sure you'll agree. Feel how the lower part of the waist has to engage to stop the spine from sagging towards the floor. Last time. And then we'll release. Bring the weight down. The palm can face down and just roll the weight away and feel the shoulder blades stretch away from the spine. And we can bring the weight back. Lovely. Okay, so let's come onto our hands and knees. Leave the weight where it is, just on this side of the mat, and stretch the other hand through the space to hold onto the weight. We'll take a breath in to prepare here. Hand underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then as you breathe out, we're going to bend our supporting arm, reach the weight towards one another, and then as you breathe in, come back to your tabletop position, ready to breathe out and reach the weight up and over the shoulder. Of course, working just within your range of motion. Breathe in as the arm comes down. Breathe out, pass the weight through the space that you've left. A breath in to come back to where we started, and a breath out to open up the chest and reach the weight high. One more time like this. Lovely. So we can bring the weight down, have a sit down on the bottom, and then roll onto our other side. Arms supporting the head. The weight is reaching out just ahead of your chest. Knees are stacked one on top of the other, and a space appears underneath your waist, which we can keep there. Palm is facing down, a breath in to prepare. Now as you exhale, float the weight away from the floor, shoulder blade pulling towards the spine, arm and hand and weight all in line with the shoulder. Finish that exhale, and then breathe in, bring the weight down. Feel free to take a little stretch each time you do this, if you need to. Exhale, again, float the arm up. Remember, just don't use the weight. If you feel that it's enough just to lift your arm, that's fine. If you have any kind of shoulder injury or rotator cuff injury, that might be a wiser way to go today. Last time like this. And then we can bring it down. Let's turn the weight on its end, thumb pointing up. Give the shoulder a wiggle if it needs it. A breath in to prepare. And a breath out. Let's lift, feeling how the arm is externally rotating in the shoulder joint, trying to feel the muscles that you're using to do that and really exaggerate the recruitment of those muscles, so focusing on making that movement a bit stronger. And then a breath in to return last time. This is where a weight that's any heavier than this might be a bit of a problem. Sometimes less is more. So now we're going to come up onto hands and knees. Leave the weight just where it was. Your opposite hand slides through the space, takes the weight, a breath in to prepare, and then a breath out as you reach the weight towards me, hovering the knuckle off the floor. A breath in, come back to your tabletop position. A breath out, the arm reaches up and over the shoulder. Trying to get that movement to happen through the thoracic spine, so just kind of between the shoulder blades, maybe a tiny bit lower than that. Exhaling as we go to each end of this movement. So as we stretch the arm up into the air, feel that beautiful twist through the spine. And then again as we reach through, releasing the other way and stretching the shoulder. Well done. So the hands can come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then we're going to take a little shift from side to side and just release the hips. And now sit the hips back towards the heels and release the spine. So I'd like you to rock forward now onto your hands and knees, but open your hands just a little bit wider than the mat. Options for you here. We could have the knees in the tabletop position. Preferably we'll be here in a 3/4 plank position. For now, we're going to rock the knees, the feet over to the right side of the mat so we're slightly twisted. Then bend the elbows coming into a push-up position, breathe in. Then breathe out as you push your way back up, and then bring the feet over to the center. The feet go over to the left. Breathe in as you lower down, look over your right shoulder, and breathe out as you push your way back to the start. Again, feet to the right. Breathe in, look over left shoulder, and breathe out, push your way back up. And switch. Let's just do one more on each side, making sure that the core stays lovely and stable. And down we go, last one. So let's walk the knees towards the hands. Plant the knuckles down into the floor so that you're pressing down into your rings if they're there. And then sit your hips back towards your heels and just stretch out the wrists. So let's rock forward now. Take just one weight with you. Lower your chest down onto the ground and roll the weight away until it's as far away from your shoulders as it can be. Forehead can come down to the floor. We'll take a breath in now, and as you breathe out, tuck the tail under, lift the belly button away from the mat, begin to roll the weight towards your chest, lifting your chest away from the ground, and keeping the arms straight, a little bit of pressure through the fingers and hands down into the weight. Breathe in as you lengthen the body and roll the weight away. As you breathe out and lift, feel the shoulder blades sliding down the spine, almost as though they're joining together. Keeping the neck nice and long, unwrinkled, eyes at the fingertips. And breathe in as you lower. And just one more like this. Feel as though you're almost floating, peeling your chest away from the ground. And we can come all the way back down to rest. So the forehead is going to attach to the mat. And we're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, lift this one weight away from the floor, if it'll go. If not, just float your arms away from the floor instead. And then breathe in as you lower it down. And just twice more like this. And you really need to use your tummy muscles, use your glutes as well, to hold the pelvis stable. Excellent. So we're going to work our way up onto the elbows now, still in this position, making sure that the tailbone's slightly tucked under so that we're not just arching the spine, which isn't very nice. And then we're going to bend the left knee, lift the left thigh away from the floor, and press the left toes over to the right-hand side. Keep your left elbow glued to the mat so you get this amazing stretch through your waist and through your spine. Then you can bring the left knee back down to rest and switch sides. So the left leg straightens, right knee bends, lift the right thigh away from the mat, reach it all the way over to the left side. See if you can touch the floor. Right elbow stays nice and still, attached to the mat. And breathe in, bring it back. And let's just do one more of these on each side, because it feels so nice. So this time, stretch the leg away, perhaps lengthen the arm as well. And bring the elbow back, the knee, and the leg can lengthen. Right knee bends, right thigh lifts, stretch the leg away, and stretch the arm away too. And then everything can come back to where it started. So we'll slide the hands underneath the shoulders, bend the knees, push ourselves away from the ground, and then tuck the toes under, lifting the hips into a downward dog, and allow the calves to stretch. The sit bones can look up to the sky, the chest can move towards the thighs. And then take a little bend into each knee, allowing the other foot to sink into the floor beneath you. The knees can bend, we can float the knees all the way down to the ground. Untuck the toes, sit your hips back towards your heels and take a beautiful stretch into the spine and the shoulders. And you're done.